Hello out there. Um, so it's January 22nd, and it's been a week, y'all. Um, yeah, I think if you're probably anywhere in the world, you're noticing some big ripples and waves. We have so much going on, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it. And it's been heavy and sticky and uncomfortable and at times a little overwhelming. And if any of that resonates with you, I thought I would share with you how I personally have been working with this in the best effort I have to stay kind of grounded and sort of sane during this time. And so I lean on really heavy, a few different practices, and I'm going to share one with you today. And I want to say up front, you do not have to have any kind of experience with meditation or mindfulness or any particular skill or ability to be able to go through this practice. Um, just a little bit of time and space and some curiosity. I would say that's all that's really needed. Um, the other thing I'll say is that this is going to offer us the space and me the space. I will just simply practice, and you can feel free to join in if you want, or just take it in from a distance if you want. You know, it's totally up to you how you decide to interact or not. But if you are experiencing emotions that are overwhelming or could be described as traumatic, this isn't the practice that I would recommend. And I think I find myself at times in those places too. And really, sorry, I got a bit of a cold. Really, what I think is important is sometimes we need support. We need outside support. And the wisest decision can be to reach out to a friend, therapist, helping professional teacher, advisor, whatever it might be. So this practice that I'll share is for the stuff that might be really intense. It might be super uncomfortable, but I don't feel a risk of kind of drowning in it. And so please keep that in mind and sense into yourself whether or not it's the right thing for you based upon the intensity of what you're feeling and how used to working with strong emotions you are. So now that we have the caveats out of the way, there's several different practices I'm working with, honestly, right now. I'm really asking myself, how can I show up as the best possible friend for myself? And I'm going to make a few other videos about this topic, but what I will share with you today is a practice called RAIN. RAIN's an acronym. It stands for Recognize, Allow, Investigate, and Nurture. It was popularized by my primary teacher, Tara Brach, who has done so much for the world, myself included, to bring this amazing practice out there. And what I love about it is that it really just invites me to ask myself, like, what's going on? What am I even feeling? Like, what's it like right now to be in my experience? Gives me a way of making a bit of space for that experience, identifying and sensing into what do I need to respond to, however it's like right now, and then caring for myself a bit. And I think there are terms out there, very popular ones like self-care. And sometimes it's like, what the hell does that even mean? You know, how do you care for yourself? Like, do you have a bath? Do you eat chocolate? Do you go for a walk? Not that any of those are right or wrong. You know, do you meditate? Do you exercise? Like, what does it mean to care for myself? And so I really love this practice in particular because it helps me sense into what is needed, what's going on, and what is needed. And these can be things that, unless I'm intentional about putting my awareness into asking those questions, I might literally have no idea. I know I don't feel good. I might be able to say I'm anxious or I feel terrible or I'm really stressed out or I'm not sleeping or just like nothing feels good. But I can't get much more specific. And then therefore, I don't know how to respond and really show up for myself. So let's get into it. This practice will help the way that feels the best for me in sharing this, because I think this is a very much putting on my own oxygen mask before I try to offer anything to anyone else, is to just take you with me through my practice. This one's basically daily and sometimes a couple times a day for me right now. And like I said, you can follow along, you can practice with me, you can just check it out, um, whatever feels right. I know that you have all the wisdom as far as what is really needed, and this is your experience and your practice, so you get to make all the rules. So, to begin, I usually sit. Sometimes I lay down, sometimes I stand. There is no right or wrong way to arrange the body to prepare for this little exercise. I will say it's very helpful to have a sense of being supported. So I think in this quest for supporting oneself, starting with a way that the body feels supported is super helpful. And so I'll sit today, but anything goes. I usually kind of deepen my breath a little. Sometimes even that is like, whoa. I notice I might not have taken very many deep or full breaths yet that day. I often close the eyes. That's not necessary. My eyes will be closed, I'm sure, through most of this practice, but you could do you. Mm. I begin this process of arriving in my body. And that might sound like kind of a funny way to describe it, but very, very often I notice when I am intentional about arriving in my body that actually it's been a while since I've been hanging out here. And what can help is to bring my attention into different parts of my body. And so I'll walk us through what that looks like for me. I often start in the face and just noticing all the little muscles around my eyes with my many expressions, sometimes a furrowed brow or some anxiety or tension, just inviting softness and a place of rest for all those little muscles around the eyes, in the cheeks. I check out what's going on with the jaw. Can be clenched, sometimes really tight. So I'll open the mouth, maybe swing the jaw side to side a little, inviting the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth and rest in the lower palate. I love to imagine the brain as a muscle. See if it's possible to just let it relax even a little. Bring some softness into the muscles of the neck, Noticing where my shoulders are in relation to my chin. And sometimes there's not a lot of distance there. So inviting the shoulders to fall down the back. Only as much as is comfortable, not forcing anything. Bringing the attention down the arms, past the elbows and the forearms and the wrists, into the hands. And tuning in for a minute to those sensations in the hands. I find so much aliveness inside the hands. Might be pulsing or tingling or vibrating. Bringing the attention back to the sensations of the breath. Beginning at the nostrils and all the way down into the belly. Inviting the belly to be soft. Noticing where my body is making contact with the seat or the floor. And letting it be heavy there. Just kind of resting into the support of the surface beneath me. Acknowledging that the earth is down there holding me all the time. I like to invite myself to be held. Maybe imagine growing roots down into the earth. Recognizing that gravity is holding me in this beautiful embrace. Holding me close to the earth all the time. Our great mother. And I begin this practice of rain now that I'm here in my body. By just recognizing what is going on inside of me. What am I feeling? There might be a lot of emotions present. Lately, there's been a lot of fear, some anger, disbelief, grief. Times it's anxiety. Sometimes it's numbness, like I just don't feel anything other than maybe the sense that it's not okay. I'm not okay. We aren't okay. But this step of rain, this recognizing what's here, is just about acknowledging what is, not searching for the perfect label. And the A of rain, the allowing, goes right hand in hand with noticing what's here and then allowing it to be as it is without trying to fix or change it. So as I'm noticing, there's fear here. At the same time, I'm saying this belongs. And I'm making room for my experience to be just as it is. If I notice some judgment arise based on what I'm feeling, I make room for that too. Ah, there's anger, and damn it, I shouldn't be angry. Okay, there's judgment. Yeah, this belongs as well. This is what's here, self-judgment. Sometimes there's grief, and I don't want there to be grief. So there's grief, and there's aversion to the grief. So noticing what's here, allowing and making space for it as best I can. And as I begin to investigate, I really bring it in to the body. So rather than thinking about I'm angry or I'm fearful or I'm stressed out, and here's all the good reasons why, and I'm often there are those. I tune in instead to how does it feel in the body? Oh, there's fear. Where do I feel it? Oh, it's in my chest. Feels like tightness. Sometimes it helps to put a hand on the body where I feel the emotion in a somatic way. Or there's anger, it's heat. It's in my throat or in my face. I feel grief and it's right in the belly. It's a twisting. As I'm investigating, I'm fully experiencing in a felt sense way what it is that is present in my emotional experience. And as I deepen the investigation, I ask myself, what's the hardest part of this? Or what do I most need? What is this fearful, this angry, this shocked, this anxious part of me asking for? What does it most need to feel cared for in this moment? And then I listen. And here there's allowing the needs to be as they are, not making them too unreasonable or childish or unrealistic. Hearing and acknowledging the needs of these deepest parts of myself. And getting to know, becoming intimate with my experience. And as I prepare to move into the Anne of Rain, I imagine the wisest, most awake, evolved part of myself. Or if it feels way outside of my pay grade, to offer what is needed, which happens pretty often, I imagine whomever it might be that has the capacity to offer type of care, compassion, understanding, space, whatever it is that's needed, who might have the capacity to offer that? And I call upon that. It could be an advisor, a teacher, a friend, a pet, an ancestor. It could be God or the universe itself. But I imagine that that force, that being is with me in this practice, and that we begin to offer the care, the compassion, the understanding, whatever is needed directly into the center of that most tender places that I have identified as what is here right now. It helps for me. I put a hand on my heart or my belly, sometimes on my cheek, really a gesture of care. And I envision these parts of myself bathed in exactly what is needed from a source that has endless capacity to offer just what these parts of me are asking for. And after I've soaked up as much nurturing as I have time for, I take a couple moments just to rest in this place of having understood and taken the time to see and care for all of me. And to notice that these big waves of emotional experience, even the huge ones, are taking place inside this larger container of my awareness of who I am. I don't believe any level of practice makes it possible to stop these waves. It's part of being alive. But I can see that I am larger. And as I think it's John Kabat-Zinn says, I can learn to serve. And then I'll begin to take a few, again, deeper, fuller breaths. Some long exhales. A little movement. Maybe a stretch. I love a good stretch. And as a final step, I just acknowledge, just feel the difference between how I'm feeling now as compared to how I felt at the start of the practice. So for me right now, there's a lot more space. I feel more grounded. I'm calmer, more steady. And what I love about this rain practice is that when I have 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, however long it is, I can practice the way we just have. I move through all the steps and I take my time. And I can also practice a much lighter rain, more of a sprinkle, where in the moment that I am aware that there is something strong coming up, I am caught, I am reactive, I'm really scared, whatever it might be, I can notice in the moment, okay, fear is here. I can try to make room for it just with a couple breaths, recognize it and allow it. I can ask myself, what do I most need right now? And then to the best of my ability, I can offer it in that moment, or I can make a commitment to myself. I'm going to come back to this and offer this care. And that can happen almost as fast as I just said it, in 15 or 20 or 30 seconds. And that form of rain I'm practicing as often as I can remember to, whenever I notice that something's going on in my internal environment. And the last thing I'll share before ending this little time is that it's hard out there right now, y'all. Like, I really hope that as you're going through whatever it is you're going through, no matter what your beliefs are, that it's possible to show up for yourself, to be there for yourself, to care for yourself, to recognize that you're not doing it wrong, no matter what you're feeling. And that our ability to be able to be wiser and kinder and more compassionate in the world really starts with taking care of ourselves and figuring out what we're feeling and what we need. And so you are worth it. You deserve it. Your needs matter. You should be at the top of your own priority list. And I so rarely say anyone should do anything, but it's true. Because you are an incredibly valuable and precious human being and you matter. So I think that's all for today. And that message was just as much for me a good reminder. I keep reminding myself of this all the time, especially when there are so great of needs all around us, not to forget my own practice and my own accountability to really be there for myself with as much love and kindness and compassion as I can. So, sending out all the love to all of you. May we together find ways to navigate this time with wisdom, with kindness, with humor, and with patience. It's going to take some time to ride through this period of time we're living in, but I don't think there's any accidents. We're all here on purpose and for a reason, and it will be more possible for us to find that strength and balance if we lean on each other and if we really resource ourselves. So, okay. I'll be sharing more videos like this soon. So if you're into it, join me. You can do all the things, subscribe or like or whatever. I don't even know exactly how to direct you there, but you know what to do. Okay, take care.